This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money. With your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's been going on?
What's going on, man? We got bars. Actually, we don't, but Kendrick does. We got to follow up on that just a little bit. So, what's going on this week? As I said, a little bit of Kendrick, Fallout. It didn't come out with a bang, but it's got a lot of rumblings. A lot of people are talking about it. Both Theo and I watched it, so we give you a little impressions on that. Obviously, we always talk about the streaming wars, so we got some information there. And basically, I don't even know if we should call it the streaming wars or the new cable wars because Comcast is back in the mix, making a bundle, and Disney Plus is in the mix. They're making a bundle, not like a bundle of money, but a bundle of services and shows you can watch. It's cable all over again. So we got to talk about that. AI influencers are going viral. So you thought that your friend across the street who has a nice personality and a good smile was going to be the influencer to take over the world. No, it's going to be somebody you click on. And it's going to be made of AI. And ChatGPT 4.0, we got to talk a little bit about that. It's here doing things and sounding crazy. I don't know where we're going in this new AI dimension. We got to keep tabs on it. And Meta is something else. That's all I'm going to say about Meta for now. We'll see how much we jump into that. But in the meantime, my man Theo, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your week?
My week was wonderful, Mr. Benja. Yeah, I think we just had one of our longest conversations off the pod in a long time before we joined in this. And guys, it was tense. Me and Mr. Benja were
Tense.
negotiating, guys. Yes, we were trying to negotiate what Mr. Benja could bring to the table on some other things. But look, guys, this is what we do. We don't only talk about, we live it. So both entrepreneurs and so understanding. And Mr. Benja gave me a new perspective on how to think about marketing and how to position yourself in a market, specifically to your avatar, your audience that you're targeting. So I thought that was insightful. And then also, hopefully, I gave Mr. Bidget some insight into how I think through the
Always.
problems that I have. So it was very intense, and it was not normal, laughter that we do here, but it was definitely insightful. So hopefully, maybe we'll record one of those deep dive sessions for the crew,
I
the after
like
dark.
I like the word intense, but you said tense at first, and I was like, was I bringing tense vibes? I don't want to be tense. So if it gets too tense, I don't know, man. Then it becomes something bad. But
Well,
intense,
I
that's
pushed back a little
I
bit.
like intense.
I wanted to know the background and how you done this
Of course.
before and and that's something that we don't really push each other too much on this pod, but it's always relevant when you're talking, whether it's your best friend or the joker down the street. Get the receipts. Have they done before so you can understand how they can help you. So that's kind of what I was looking for as well.
It was to me, it was the kind of tense like playing football in the street. Whenever you want to push somebody off into the bushes or out of bounds, you push them off the street. It's hey man, that was a little rough. It's yeah, we're still playing street football. It's okay, no one cares.
That's a good analogy. I like that. I like that. Yeah,
That's
that's
I
kind of how
scraped
it
my
was. Yeah.
I scraped
Yeah.
my elbow.
As it was, man. We're just trying to figure out how best to move both of our businesses forward. It's all in good, man. But
Iron
yeah, so that was fun.
sharpens iron.
It does, it does. And like I said, I was the more I think about this, it makes me realize that we all bring different perspectives. It's like that saying about the blind people near an elephant and one's holding his trunk and he said, "Oh, this is a snake," and one's holding his leg, and this is a tree. We all have different perspectives of the problem, and we need to have a conversation because you're always coming from a design perspective and how people perceive. The example you gave me prior to this podcast made me see, oh wow, how you can reframe how people perceive your brand just by simple tweaks, whether it's pharmacy to a coffee shop or whatever. And whereas I'm more like analytical, like what do the numbers say? I'm already converted at 2%, so I should be okay. I don't know how much more I can get out of that. I think you mentioned there's a broader kind of perspective. And so that kind of opened my mind because I was just holding the trunk, right? And I was like, this is what it's a tree, right? So anyway, so I thought that was interesting when we had that conversation. So yeah, so it was cool, man. But that's what I've been about this week, man. By business, I was traveling, was really trying to meet with doctors, get in front of them because I learned a lot more. And I have a whole new perspective, Mr. Benjamin. This is my new perspective. Part of the line of this new book I'm building out. I was telling you about this big vision of a book. I think you have something similar with your idea. And hopefully we'll get some more insight on that shortly or soon, one of these days. Yeah, it's good. I think it's lead with empathy, man. And what that means is, well, two things, two perspectives I got recently. One is lead with empathy, and then treat everything like a research project. So what does that mean? So to me, it means number one, when you go into a situation, if they don't say yes or agree to you right away, don't get upset about it. I used to get frustrated. So why do they don't understand? This is best for them. They don't understand what's going on. I said, well, you know what? Maybe it's a bad day. Maybe they struggle. Oh man, they're taking their time out just to talk to me. That's awesome. So when I reframed it and looked at from their side of the point and just have more empathy to everything that I felt that they were pushing back for no reason, then it softened my approach when they pushed back at me and then make me feel so antagonistic to some of the things that were happening. So that helps me just be more empathetic and always put yourself in the mind of your customer, partner, whoever. So that way, and I think people perceive that. They're not when they maybe attack you or push back and they see that you really are not coming back with the same forcefulness, it makes them soften a little bit more. And so I've been learning that even with my family, my wife, my kids, just be like, maybe my daughter didn't do her homework, but maybe she was tired, So, instead of being like, get your ass upstairs and do that damn homework. No, I try to be more empathetic.
So
So anyway, so that's
are you
one
at the
thing.
are you at like the crossroads of veering off into mean old man versus nice old man? It just
Yeah. Oh, that's deep. You're right. There's that point where someone becomes either path, right? And I'm right there at that cusp. I could go either way right now. So
just drop the pretense and become one or the other. Because I feel the pretense is dropping at this age. I'm just like, you know what?
yeah, you don't care. You really don't care, man. That's a good point. I think we're at the age now of an age, let's just say that you realize, you know what? You just have a choice. And I realize that even on the plane, sometimes you go on the plane, you travel. I choose to be nice. Yes, someone is
Yeah,
hitting me with their baggage or coughing in my face. I say, how you doing? I try to smile and try to be
yeah,
empathetic because I could get really nasty sometimes. And sometimes I really don't want to talk to anybody,
yeah,
especially when you're taking those early morning flights. So you're right, man. It's a choice, man. It really is. And once you just make that choice, then because and to me, I always believe it doesn't serve me to be nasty and mean because that just carries the rest of the day. So I might as well make a choice to be happy and to be friendly and to talk to people. And I think that does carry the rest of the day and makes it more enjoyable, especially when I travel.
yeah,
So that's one thing I learned. And then the last but not least, the thing I learned, just always be a learner or just always go into as you're doing research. Yes, I paid this money to get in front of this doctor for lunch and learn, right? Or spend this money on ads, Facebook ads and stuff. But then I'll be like, I learned something about this. And so I used to get frustrated, be like, oh, I spent all this money, I wasted money. Why even do this anymore? I'm done. Then I was like, you know what? I learned something.
So
That was interesting.
really quick for the people, explain what a lunch and learn is, because I remember these from when I was a kid. My aunt was a pharmacist, and I had medical people in the family, so I've run across these. I just didn't know it had a title and that it was still going on. What is a lunch and learn?
Good point. Good point. Everyone remembers doctors. They would be busy and not have time, but they always had time for just one person that would come in with lunches in the middle of the time when you're supposed to see your doctor. And that was a pharma rep, the pharmaceutical rep, the sales rep. And this what became popular really in the 80s and 90s, where pharmaceutical reps may or may not have been cute women, but would come by the office and basically bring lunch to the office and talk to the doctor about the latest drugs. You probably seen in this popularized in many movies and TV shows and to the bane of maybe Medicare. But that's just something a lot of doctors are familiar with when you go see them. If you're trying to sell something to them, they just know that, hey, if you set up a lunch and learn or a lunch, not only do you help pay for him to eat, but also his staff who are probably too busy to go out to go get something.
Mhm.
Everybody's grateful, but also you get like that 10 minutes with the doctor to at least sell your wares. And so that's something that's been since the dawn of time. Because doctors, you can find a doctor, you can get any doctor you want. You just gotta find time to get on the schedule because they're so busy. They're on the clock to see patients from 9 to 5, and then at night they're done. Is that's the only way you can get them. So the lunch and learns are really powerful in trying to get access from a
Yeah.
sales standpoint. Yeah. So that's what I do sometimes, and I have sales reps that do that as well. as we try to move forward. But yeah, man, it's about that business, man, this week, man. That's what this was about. But shout out to my little son real quick. And one last thing I want to say. Yeah, shout out to my little man. He did his thing this last games of the spring session. He does play at the YMCA. Yeah, man, this kid, I think he's trying to do something in sports. He's only 8, but he plays a little basketball game. It was funny. It was the last shot of the game. And you could tell he's waiting for like the time to expire. So he was looking at the clock. He was dribbling, looking at the clock. I said, pass the ball. What you doing? He's looking at the clock, looking at the clock. And then the last 10 seconds, 10, not, he shot the 3, right? He stepped that, shot the 3, and he made it. I was like, oh, this.
Oh, here we
So
go.
you already had a big head, right? So I was like, okay, good job. You did your good job. So we go to this next game. He does flag football. So we watch a flag football. And this joker gets an interception and runs it in for a touchdown. I was like, oh, man. So his head was already big. Now it's just, I can't even hit it. I was like, okay, man, congratulations. So yeah, he had a phenomenal run today. Shout out to little LJ doing this thing on the sports. So if you listen to this pod one day, tell him dad is proud of you, but I would never say that to your face.
Man.
Gotta keep you humble.
Yeah, man. I remember, coach kept me humble at one point, and I was like, okay, that's what that's about. Now, all these years later, I'm like, why was he being like that?
Just like I tell my son, you can't learn if you feel like everything. So I try to just say, hey, yes, you did it. Always have an open mind to learn something, because that's the only way you're gonna get better. But if you feel like everything, then you'll never get better from where you are. So hopefully he'll take that to heart. But yeah, he had a great day. Last games of the spring, and so he went out on top. So kudos to my son.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, man, it's been a good week. And speaking of the kids and childhood, I am finding joy in reverting back. I remember I mentioned watercolors, and I was trying to figure out what that was about. I was like, what is this about? And there are certain things that you did as a kid that just don't go away. We're talking about X-Men 97, watching cartoons and stuff. Yeah, I don't think that's going away. There's going to be some part of me at whatever age I am that's, oh, what cartoon is this? And oh, this is great. Let me sit down and watch it with the kids and see what happens. Um, but yeah, my watercolors late at night, when between going to sleep and there's nothing else really productive I can do. There's this hour or so of just pace around the house and not do anything time. That's when I broke out the watercolors. I realized at the end of the night, my dad would break out a sketchbook, or he'd go to his little art shed and he'd paint. And a lot of times I would hang out with him, and I would just do stuff at kind of the end of the night. And he was just drawing and thinking. There was not much talking at all going on. I think NPR or some blues might have been playing on the radio, but it was just super quiet, super chill, shut down everything, and just create some art. Man, I was sitting down painting some blueberries. And hey, man, blueberries are great. For about 45 minutes, and then put that down and was like, wow, I'm not thinking about anything. My phone's already put away, my hours, I'm shutting down, broke out the watercolors. And watercolors aren't, it's not like they can really stain your clothes too much or anything like that. They're really simple, nice. If you make a mistake, too bad. You can't like fix it. It's not like a acrylic where you can paint over and you'll be thinking about it the next day. You paint it, it's done, go on to the next thing. So I just realized, man, I was hitting back to that time with my dad, listening to NPR. I had a podcast on. It was great. So,
Man, love it. Yeah, and you just feel connected to your past and to that time with your dad. I know that was special. Man, that's awesome, man, when you can do that, go back. I think I told you a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I think I went back to Tallahassee, and just it's changed. I haven't been back to Tallahassee since we left fam, but it was like changed, but it was the same. And so you start getting those flashbacks. Oof. Oh yeah, I remember where I was here. Oh, you know, his memory is weird now, because sometimes you realize, man, we just talked about the Phantom Menace last time. 25 years ago, man. It seemed like it was yesterday. That's a quarter of a century, man, when that movie came out. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So we lived a long life, man. So it's just a lot. Yeah, yippee. Good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of going back in the day, X-Men 97, man. I can't watch this. I need to just watch the whole thing. The density of it, the way the story is set up, I just can't watch it. I need to stop, take in the whole thing, take notes, get on the message boards, talk some noise, correct people who are wrong on the internet. I need to binge it. I can't do this. So I didn't watch this week's episode, man. I
No
couldn't do it.
worries, man. No worries. We probably need to get Dr. Chris on here to do a more deeper dive. But just my high level impressions, very great show, man. It was, I would say this though. I think Remember Me was probably, or Remember It was probably the highlight of the season with Gambit. Spoiler alert. We talked about it. Gambit passes away. But just, it still kept high overall with some of the things with Bastion. And then, do you want me to say anything else beyond that or what
No,
happened in the final
say what
high
you want.
level? Yeah, spoiler alert. So please go watch X-Men 97 if you haven't seen it, blah, blah, blah. Please don't at us. Anyway, yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah. We'll cover something else. Man, Apocalypse is gonna be there, man. He's gonna be the next villain. There was rumors that Onslaught, you remember Onslaught, the
Yeah.
Magneto and Charles Xavier kind of hybrid baby, if you will. Psychic baby they had. It was gonna come back. I thought it was a cool design, but I don't think Onslaught was relevant to me. I don't know. I remember when that comic came out. I was so hyped for it, but it became a big nothing burger. It was like, oh, all the heroes had to go after Onslaught, but it was like nothing. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So you saw the YouTubers, they were talking about Onslaught coming. That didn't happen. So they're gonna bring back Apocalypse. Because did he show up in the original cartoon? I thought he did. I could have
She did.
swore. Yeah, so they're gonna just forget we saw that, and then they're gonna bring him back, but it's gonna be different this time because once they beat Bastion, some kind of shenanigans, they end up splitting the team into different time frames. One in the distant past, 3000, when he's how do you say his name back in the day in Ben Sabor or whatever. He wasn't Apocalypse then, but he was about
Right,
to
right.
be. And so 3,000 years in the past in Egypt, and then went 3,000 years in the future with the Ashanti tribe and all that. They got two teams in two different time zones. And there's a team in the present where Apocalypse shows up on Genosha. It looks like they're going to fight Apocalypse in three different timelines, which would be pretty awesome if they pull that off for season 2.
Huh. That's one of those wouldn't it be cool if discussions. Like when you're sitting around
Yes.
the writing room. What if, guys, seriously, wouldn't it be cool if we had all of them fighting Apocalypse and in three different timelines and periods of time? It's like, how would that even work? And then your mind just starts racing. I love the concept, even without knowing the story of how that's going to happen or how it's going to break down. Imagine someone doing something in the past and it changes your fight as you're fighting in the future. Just seeing,
Be
thinking
kind of cool.
interesting things.
Yeah. I don't know. The show has been good, but I don't know if it's going to be that good. If they do something like that, would be amazing. But I don't know. We'll see.
That could be a
And
whole season of a show. Oh man, I gotta
yeah,
somebody can make that
in
work.
Sabah Noor, that's his human name, or before he became the X-Men, and some say the greatest X-Men or the most immortal one. But
Yeah.
anyway, or the immortal one. But yeah, so it seems like it's gonna be interesting. But overall, this season, amazing, man. Who knew that X-Men 97 would be this good? And what got me the most, Mr. Benja, was just the writing. Even some of the things that Bastion said. He said, I think there was one line he said in the finale. He said, I think they were in asteroid M. Of course, you got to go to asteroid M. If you don't know, Magneto's based on a rock in space that he goes to every now and then. The the president of the fictional US there, he sends rockets or nuclear blasts to go blow down planet X or planet M, excuse me. And so he sends those nuclear blasts to kill them. And then Bastion says in so many words, he said, look at the human race. He said they rather kill themselves because if they knock the rock out of space, it will hit the planet Earth and destroy all life. So they'd rather kill themselves than have children that look like us. So good writing overall about this show, man. And there's just that whole juxtaposition of if you're an outsider, if you're not accepted by society, the X-Men has always been that great storyline to say, look, we get you, right? And you're not alone. And so I
Yeah.
think that's really what they drove home. So I think X-Men 90s, they already did season 2, they said, and then season 3 they're writing now. So it looks like X-Men 97 is here for the long haul. And rumors, I'm probably gonna see a lot of X-Men in Deadpool and Wolverine. We probably will. We'll probably see a lot of them, all of them. pretty much.
Eating your favorite Jubilee.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about it. So so man. So anyway, speaking of my beef, we're gonna switch a little bit. I'm going to take it out of order here, Mr. Benja. Speaking of beef with Jubilee, man, you see this Kendrick Lamar beef and with Drake, it is still going on, man. They're still talking about it. Any insights since the last time we talked? We've been talking about this off and on for a couple of weeks, but people still out in these streets, man, going after each other, man. Did you see any of the latest stuff that people are talking about and trying to simmer down this thing? What do you think?
Nah, just I heard people talking about, hey, Drake hasn't gone home yet and closed the door. He's still out in these streets doing stuff. Apparently, somebody said he reacted to something. He finally made mention of it. I don't know. Had you heard that?
No, I haven't, but did you hear about some strange incidents at his home, some shootings, things like that? It's
Oh,
unfortunate. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So this could get a little I think they're gonna calm it down, be honest with you, Mr. Bench. I mean, we've been
yeah.
talking about it for a while. But be honest with you, man, that Kendrick, my wife is loving that Kendrick bop, man. Not like us. There's people loving that one, man. Did you see the parodies of that one? I was looking here. There's a kids not like us. There's a kids bop version of it. There's a Motown version of it. Yeah, not like us, man. It's becoming the bop of the summer from Kendrick Lamar. Go check it out.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess a lot of the talk kind of fell off a little bit. At least in my circles, and it seemed like it was over. Where it's just like Drake's not doing anything yet. But yeah, it feels like unless somebody makes a move, they're just gonna walk. They're just gonna say Kendrick within this week. If no one says anything, then Kendrick wins by default. It's like during the standing 8 count when they're waiting on the team to either throw in the towel or the boxer to turn around and say, "You know what, ref, I've had enough. Go," and I'm just gonna go back to my corner. I feel like that's about to happen. If Drake runs out for another round of swinging, then I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I think Drake is whatever. I'm thinking I don't want to deal with this no more. And so I think they're just gonna quietly let it go by. But everybody be like, Drake will put another song out, be a bop. People say, oh, Drake, it's still good. But we know you're not that guy anymore. Yeah, and I think there's some nastiness with Diddy that came out this week. So I think did you see Childish Gambino also had something that came out?
What?
Did you check that out? Yeah.
I hadn't heard
Yeah.
Gambino's name since that person did the 8-bit remix of "This Is America." I'm looking up Childish Gambino right now.
Yeah, it's a little bop. It's his it's still got his textbook dancing and weirdness onto it, but we'll see. I thought he had a chance to maybe change the conversation, but I don't think it's got any buzz. So he may have missed his time.
He seems intelligent. He is intelligent, but he doesn't have that inflammatory kind of activism. Like all activism, all social movements need a little bit of danger and fear to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whenever you have an open mic and somebody walks up to the stage to say something to when somebody walks up to the mic to say something to the person on stage, there's got to be a little bit of nervousness. Oh man, this guy might say something crazy. I know him.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
with
He's not that guy.
Gambino's. Oh no, give him the mic. He's fine. Go ahead. Say something. He won't say anything dangerous. It's just like yeah, whatever.
Yeah. He had a good run, man. It was like May. I can't remember when he had solo about to come out. He had This Is America. What was that? I just remember it was in May. I trying to remember when that come out. I'm trying to look here now while we're talking. Was it 2018? Yeah, May 2018. He had the world by the storm. He had the hottest move song. I think he still had Atlanta coming out. Atlanta had just finished the season. So he had music, TV, and he had solo coming out where he was gonna play Lando Calrissian. It hadn't come out yet, but that people were getting hype about it. He was just running things that May of 2018, man. I liked him since Community. Donald Glover, I think he's definitely super talented. Everybody has his moment, man. So I don't know if his moment has passed a little bit to your point. And so we'll see if this song takes up.
My uncle told me this. There is no successful Black person that doesn't spark outrage in somebody. And if you don't spark outrage, if they don't think you're outrageous in some way, then it's just like, okay, whatever. And
Wow, that's
that
deep.
stuck with me. I didn't take it seriously at the time, but I remember I stood up and said something crazy at work one day, and then everybody looked up, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, I was one of 3 Black people in the whole cubicle farm." And I just remember everybody was like, "Oh," and then I flashed back to my uncles, "Oh, I did something outrageous." And now they're all looking over here. Is that how it
Mm.
works?
That's interesting, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that per se. I think you know what I'm trying to think. The popular. Let's see who the popular Negroes are in society right
Hey,
now.
you could
So,
be popular, but I'm
no,
saying,
but I'm gonna break it down.
okay, let's break it down, break it down.
Okay, Charles Barkley, right? People love him, for NBA stuff, but he's got that little bit of danger to him, right? Because I'm not your role model. Yep. Michael Strahan, the gap, all that. People they like him. He's cuddly, but let's be honest, he was a football player, the linebacker for the Giants for years. He could probably kill you just by looking at you, but he plays it soft. Oh, let's see. Steve Harvey, I don't know. Does he elicit outrage? Maybe the Cat Williams. I don't know.
Who has okay, you put Steve Harvey on a talk show, no one ca what's he gonna say? Put Cat Williams on there, you're edging up to the edge of your seat like, "Oh, Cat's about
Mhm.
to say something. He's a little dangerous."
Yeah. Kevin Hart, is he dangerous?
See?
He's not, but he's
Um,
arguably the most powerful comic in right now.
true,
That's
true.
Dave Chappelle is dangerous, let's be honest,
Yes,
and so he's more respected as a comedian, but Kevin Hart is a mogul,
yes.
so I don't know. So, like I said, we would come back to that one. That's
We
a good
will
argument.
refine the theory, but I don't suggest people go around taking the path of let me be soft and cuddly.
Okay, yeah, you're right, man, you're right. Oh, man. Anyway, so we
'Cause
digress, Mr.
then
Benja.
they
Well,
can get
thanks
rid of you.
for
If you're soft and cuddly,
yeah.
they can get rid of you. If you're a little bit dangerous, they're like, "Hold on now. He might do something. Let's rethink this."
He might go all crazy.
Ooh,
I love it. I
clutches
love
pearls.
it.
All right, what's up next? What you wanna talk about next?
Man, you tell me, man. You said you finally watched a show to completion,
Oh,
man.
right.
So
Fallout.
what you talking about?
Fallout, man, you were right. You said it wasn't so much good, not that it was bad. It wasn't so much good as it was compelling. And I watched it and I really got into it. I started it up, made like to the middle of the second episode and was like, hold up, this is compelling. And started it back over. It's got this vibe. And I don't think I've been entertained by a premise of a world like
Mhm,
this in this
mhm.
long, in a very long time. There are very few shows that where I just want to see more of the world. And the characters were interesting. The storyline, sure, storyline was good. It's fine. You've got these characters that need to do what they got to do. They each have their own wants, needs, desires, and obstacles that you have to go through, and etc. And they all come together, and everything comes to a head. Fine, but it's nothing in terms of story that's really groundbreaking. But as I watched it, I'm sitting here just wondering about this world and saying, "Hey, we need to go track this down." And you're like, "I wonder what they're gonna see. I wonder what they're gonna run into. Oh wait, how did they even? What about?" And you're just wondering what's around every corner of this world, and I love that. I really do. And yeah, totally compelling. But I didn't understand it till I was deeper into it. I was like, all I want to do is see more of this world. I want to see more vaults, more cities, more companies. Like we know about Valte. What about Nuka Cola? What about all these other companies that basically took over the world? And yeah, totally fascinated by it.
Oh yeah, man. And you hit the nail on the head. The reason why it's compelling was look, the characters are great. With Lucy, I thought that was a good juxtaposition, the naivete with some dawning of awareness and growing up, and then the I forgot the character's name, the warmonger who was going to the guy who wore the suit. I'm sorry, I'm
Maximus.
drawing the blank right. Maximus, thank you. And how he was a weakling, but really had some courage and kind of knew about the world. And then obviously Walter Goggins as the ghoul, just
Yeah.
having that humanity and why it was stripped away from him. Even spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the finale, he probably became a ghoul when he found out his wife was basically ready to kill the world. So yeah, a lot of I think the characters too. Let's be honest. I think they each had aspects of that building in
Yeah.
them, within them,
Yeah.
from the beginning of the story to the end, to what it's like to be of that world, and it was like to be apart from that world. And so they gave you a good perspective. But you're right, it really was in service of his world building, so much so that I never played the games, but I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and wondered, oh, what happened in Vault 27? What happened in Vault 82? They had
You
all
went
these.
down the rabbit hole. Yes.
Yeah, I did, man. All these YouTube shorts. You just see them. There's so many YouTube shows of like all these different vaults and experiments they did in them. And so you just go, oh wow, that's crazy. Oh, they did that. And then to your point, there's like the world building around, what happened overseas. We're talking about America, but what happened overseas? And there's
Yeah.
world building around the companies and who survived, who didn't. And so you're right. It's just amazing. But let's be honest, Mr. Benji, you were in games. That's what video games do, right? They do
It's
world
very
building.
it's very gamey. And usually I say that's a bad thing. But this time I was like, no, I want to go on this quest with all these characters. And instead of having the characters die, which is what I thought was interesting, like in the game, you're always worried about are they going to die. Every one of the characters, at least the main characters, felt like they could snap at any moment. Like
Mhm.
they just could say F it all. They could go off the deep end or give up. Or I wasn't so much worried about them dying. I was worried about if they were going to snap, which is really
Mm.
interesting because this whole world is just tense because if something goes wrong, kaboom. That's it's just this intensity of the bomb. It's like everybody was tense in the beginning where, hey, is the bomb going to go off? I don't know. Something's
And
about
just
to
got stuck
blow up.
that way. Good point. And it got
Yeah.
stuck that way, and so they never got out of it. But just the whole concept of envisioning America where it got stuck in the 50s because we discovered fusion way earlier, and so all things went toward energy. So anything that dealt with cellular technology and stuff, they said the microchip wasn't created. It just we just didn't discover that. It's internet, all that stuff, whatever, right? Everything
Yeah.
just stuck in a 50s aesthetic, even though it's the future because we have super powered robots and things like that. But I thought that was it's a weird mix of nostalgia with futuristic and apocalypse, doom and gloom with chipper Americana. We can do anything. So it's a weird kind of mix, and I guess that's why I guess Fallout fans loved it, the whole premise. And they got the great mascot, man. We talk about Mario or Sonic. What's the Pip Boy, whatever the guy's name,
Yeah.
with the thumbs up? Perfect brand, man. Just you're like, oh, what's this? I remember seeing that for years, didn't know anything about it. And then all of a sudden it's oh, part of that game. So there you go.
Did you watch the little shorts on Amazon? They have like commercials and
Oh yeah,
public
hilarious.
service announcements. I love those. Yeah.
Hilarious. I love those. How they sell about tech. It's just very just macabre, if you will, or very
Yeah.
dark. But yeah, man, kudos to them. Look, man, video games are having a moment, man. They're killing it. Video game IP right now is the thing to have. And we're gonna have Legend of Zelda. We're gonna have what else? Some big ones coming out in the next few years. Mr. Benja, did they call you on the bat line, man? When we gonna get Red Dead Redemption? Oh, shut it down. Shut it down. He can't talk about that.
Well, you got so hype, you blurred out, man.
I know.
The
It's
camera was like, I
classified.
can't contain it. Nah, the way Rockstar Games works, and this isn't a secret or anything, but every studio, when you talk about focus in terms of like how you focus your products, and we talk about the 80/20, we've discussed that before. They've got Grand Theft Auto out there, and damn near everything else they do is in service to making Grand Theft Auto, the next version, better. And it just feels that way. Like when we worked on table tennis, they're like, "Why are you making a table tennis game?" And as I said, this all the stuff is out there. They developed the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, Rage, the
Mhm.
Rockstar Advanced Game Engine with that game in mind. so they could work out all the kinks and details on a very small scale. You got the physics, the characters, and a bunch of other things that are at such a high fidelity. Okay, we can do it on this very small scale. Let's start working towards doing this on the GTA scale. And that's just how it's a great example of how you could really focus all your efforts towards that one great goal and have just that big megaton bomb of a force out there. Why am I thinking megaton bombs? I guess because we're talking about Fallout. You have this big, huge force out there that's, how did they put that? Dan Sullivan said, you make something that's so great that it offends other people's sensibilities for them to even try it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to do that. You're going to do that? That's too much work. That needs this and that and that. I ain't going to do it. That offends me.
No, man. While you were talking, I was looking at Fallout, man. It's killing in ratings. Amazon Prime, man, does it again. Mr. Benja, real quick before I talk about the numbers, did you opt out of ads to watch Fallout, or did you sit through ads while you watch Fallout for Amazon Prime?
Oh, man. I told Amazon, take my money.
No, man. I hate them for it. I hate them for it too, man. This is wrong, man. This is America. So basically, we got it free as part of our Amazon. We pay it. Let's be honest. We already paid for Amazon Prime TV because we all get Amazon Prime to get our 2-day shipping. So we like, okay, cool. We get videos for free. But what they did was like, yeah, you still get video for free, but we're just gonna throw ads on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But if you ever try to watch an Amazon Prime show with videos, it's the most frustrating crap ever. And so you have to pay that $3 so you can stop it. So they just made probably another $1 billion in revenue just to, at that ad tier.
Yeah.
Versus Netflix, which is trying to, and I'll talk about this. This is something that we put on the show notes, but there were the TV upfronts this week, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Netflix is trying to do the same thing, get more ad people who join Netflix and just watch the ads because they want to get more advertisers to the platform. Netflix chose the opposite, right? They just still have us paying a monthly fee, and they're just trying to eke out lower price points so they can get more people to come in and do the ad tier. The rumor is that probably Netflix is going to raise that no ad tier up even higher so they can push more people down to the ad tier. But they could have, let's be honest, they got what, 250 million people, I think, subscribed, 250 million subscribers. They could have just been like, guess what? All ad tier now. So if you don't want ads, pay us. So luckily they didn't do that. And I think because they probably didn't have nothing else. Amazon has a whole store behind it. So that's probably why they felt they could do something like that. People are gonna get Prime regardless. Amazon Prime for 2-day shipping. But Netflix, if they did that, you thought Mr. Benja churned so fast. I think I would have churned, everybody in mine would have churned Netflix. Yeah. Turned it off. But I digress and just say that $3 sucks, man. And so anyway, that it's business 101. I don't hate them, but I do.
You know what? It's funny. Nowadays, I think we talked about Amazon before because every year that bill comes up and it's like, all right, here we go. You've raised the price, Amazon, and now ads. And part of me was like, is this year I cut Amazon Prime? I'm not going to cut Amazon Prime or Amazon at all. Not yet. But I found a new hack since they've been updating their algorithm, their search algorithm. I go to Walmart, I go to Target, I go to, what's that other site? Not Temu, the eBay, Google Shopping. I go to a couple of these places really quickly. Then I find that product, and then I go search for that on Amazon, and I find the best deal. Amazon will bury these products that are actually good deals because they've been pushing up the sponsored ones. They've been pushing up the ones with high ratings and all this other stuff. So,
and don't get into their own private label too that they can push.
Yeah,
so,
basics.
Yeah. So yeah, oh, that's a good hack. I love it, man. Yeah, that's interesting, Mr. Benja. Remember we talked about that's a business case because think about it. The value that they bring to the table is enough to keep you from churning with them. And that's huge because you would churn out anything, right? You're just my test case for who will turn out these entertainment services. And you said Amazon Prime is so valuable. Truth be told, before we jumped on this call, you just got Amazon Prime package, right? And so I just ordered something myself yesterday. Yeah. So it's so valuable to people that I wonder what that they call it willingness to buy. I wonder what that point is for most of America. Because they said they had something like 190 million households or something like more people have Amazon Prime than go to church in America. That's how huge it is.
Willingness to buy. Explain that really quickly.
Yeah, it's just a term to say what is the price point that people will buy anything at before they stop buying it, right? And this is a computation between value, like what they perceive as valuable to them, and price. If the value is higher and then the one is buy is lower, then they'll pay for it, right? Because they think they'll get a deal. So you want to make sure your price is below the perceived value. And so we talked about this. Remember, I told you I had my landing page set up, right? So one of my advisors said, you want to create these bonuses, dropping game here, guys. Watch out. You want to drop bonuses in there because you want to raise that perceived value. That's why you go to pages and sometimes they give you a money back guarantee that increases the value. They have bonuses, right? To say, oh, you get, if you buy this is all you pay, but guess what? You get this and one more thing. And that's Steve Jobs did that too, just to perceive value. Now, did it cost them that much money? Who knows? To read that value. But if you perceive it as value, then whatever price point they have, it's like, oh, I'm getting a bargain. And so to your mind, Mr. Benja, you're saying what I'm paying at, I don't know, 129 or whatever it is now, plus that $3 a month, which is another what, $36. Oof, that's almost $200. It's still worth it to you because all the stuff you ship or you buy, you purchase. So would you do some high level calculations? Would you know what, at least one package a month? That's worth it to you, right?
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Simple calculations.
I may become a hermit, man. I don't want to go out anymore. I almost bought into Walmart Plus because, well, as I said, I jump over to their site to, if I need to find a product, a lot of time they give me the product. I'm like, okay, that's the product I want. And then I go to Amazon to actually purchase it. Sorry, Walmart. But I went over there, and while I was doing that, I got an ad for Walmart Plus, and I was about to close the window, but it says, and it comes with Paramount Plus now. I'm not sure I knew that before.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did hear that. Yeah, they're trying to maneuver. Actually, I know somebody over there is running some of them Walmart Plus. I need to reach out to him. I don't know if he'll do our podcast, but yeah, can we, my ex roommate. He's doing some big things over there at Walmart Plus. Yeah, so we'll see what they're doing. Man, I think Walmart, it was a little too late. They have the infrastructure in place. They're probably the one who could compete with Amazon. But yeah, I think shady thing. Well, real quick, one of the things shady thing Amazon did. Did you know that my mom got trapped in this? They put all these windows up. Hey, watch this episode for free from BET, or watch this episode for free from
Yes, I know where
Showtime.
you're going.
As my mom did that, so I'm watching this show. I love this show. I said, Mom, that they charge you for that. He said, No, they don't. No, they don't. They gave it to me for free. It's part of Amazon. She looked at her account. She said, What? They've been charging me for like 8 months for BT Plus for a TV show she wanted to watch. She canceled that so fast. So Amazon is a portal to all these other streaming services, and a lot of folks get into that, and that's unfortunate. So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, they don't make that part clear. But what is clear is that they've got competition now because this is the bundle wars. The streaming wars has started to turn into the bundle wars. I don't even know how to explain this, but last week we talked about Disney Plus eating up. They've got Discovery, they've got Max, they've got Hulu. This is all kind of Disney Plus, and they're putting bundles together. Yeah, we got this big crazy bundle of all these services and options, ESPN, Fox, everything. We're going to give it to you. We've got it all coming, and we're Disney, and we're big, and we're a behemoth, and we can do that. What are you going to do? A few days after that announcement, Comcast comes out the woodwork. Hey, remember us cable guys? Don't forget about us. We know this business. We got a bundle coming too. And everybody's, really? Who do you have? Comcast has a bundle coming with Netflix, Apple, and Peacock TV. Interesting. I had to unplug my router for a second and just stare at the wall while I figured out what we were doing with ourselves now that we're going back to cable, basically. But yeah, Amazon's not in that mix yet, so they might have to do something. But Theo, we're in the bundle wars, man. What's happening?
Yeah, Mr. Benja. So I hinted at this. So last week, they had TV upfronts. Have you heard that term before? The TV upfronts.
No, I haven't.
So this is something they did every year where like the big network CBS, NBC, ABC would go and pitch like, these are great shows. We got Queen Latifah coming to the TV show near you. We got the next Big Bang
Right.
Theory coming out. And they would do that to get the advertisers hype. Big advertisers, they would go, oh, yes, I want to advertise on that TV show, that TV show. Number one, the first year, the ones who dominated were not network television anymore. NBC, CBS, ABC. It was the streaming shows, Netflix. It was Amazon. They were dominating. They were the ones that came out with the big presentations and all that. These other guys are just sad seconds, right? They had some leftover TV shows that they were trying to premiere, but it was really Amazon and Netflix who came out with the splashy presentations. Amazon did another, they're going to have another one. And kudos to Aldous Hodge. I don't know if you know that actor. He played in a TV show I used to watch back in the day called Leverage. He is going to be the new Alex Cross. You remember that Tyler Perry
Oh, yeah.
movie? Yeah, so it's basically written by what's his name? James Patterson, a white author. His biggest series is based on a black detective, but I digress. It's called Alex Cross. So anyway, he's going to be the next version of Alex Cross. And so this is the continuation of Amazon creating TV shows from hit books, Reacher, and other shows. So anyway, so they premiered that. Netflix is saying they're going to get the NFL 2 Christmas games on Netflix. So this is crazy, Mr. Benja. You're right. We're going into a new world where traditional TV is not the same, and we're gonna watch our sports. We're gonna watch everything on these streaming services. And to your point, because everyone knows Netflix won, they're trying to team up on Netflix. Like we talked about the different bundles. You talked about Disney Plus, Hulu, Max, Discovery bundle, right? There's a sports bundle, right? It's called VNU. And that's going to be ESPN, Fox, and HBO Max. But you just talked about Walmart Plus. You talked about Comcast. Because another thing that's happening too, Mr. Benja, is cable is dying too. The traditional cable that we know and love. They said for the first time ever, TV fell below 50% viewing share for the first time in cable TV, with cable TV and broadcast TV. So that means people are seeing more and more streaming shows. So that means the streamers have to combine to not only capture market share, and Comcast was a linear, let's be honest, right? They had, I think, with Spectrum and other type of cable bundles. They have to get with streaming in order to survive. And the smaller streaming services have to bundle together to survive against Netflix. So yeah, man, you're right. I love what you said. The bundle wars are here. The streaming wars are over. Netflix won, but the bundle wars, boom, boom. What's that? The bundle strikes back.
Oh man, here we go. Yeah, it is.
It's gonna be interesting,
bundle.
Mr. Benja. So, how much are you gonna pay for any of this, man, Mr. Benja? I'll be curious. What's your willingness to buy for a bundle?
I am so not interested in a bundle, man. I just the concept of see, I told you part of me when I was getting into what I put my mental energy to, for some reason there's this part of me that still says if I'm paying for this service, I need to use up a certain amount of it. So I can't just have these services in the background. It's like a process running. You're programming a game and you have this process running. So what's that process? Don't worry, it's doing something. It's eating up the CPU, man. Get that thing out of here. Except for in this case, it's eating up the MPU. That's the monetary processing unit. You just can't have stuff sitting around in the background, sucking up your money and your time. So I was like, drop it. If it's not doing anything active, drop it.
Wow, you better than me, Mr. Benja. That's the only time I can turn my brain off. So I at night I do watch at least an hour or something so that I can, and that's why I'm always the dispatch from the entertainment, coal mine, right? I'm always watching everything of the two of us because that's just the one time I can just turn everything off. So that's like my water painting time, right? While you painting blueberries, I'm watching Fallout, right? At 11:38 p.m. I will say this. Yeah, I'm there for it. I'm going to watch them. June is going to be huge. You'll have The Boys that comes out, The Acolyte. Something else is coming out that's going to be big, but there's going to be a lot of, I think Agatha is coming out all along.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of new shows that I'm going to watch. And so, yeah, I'm going to be there for it, man. It's just something to release my mind. But yeah, these bundles, man, they're not going to be 10.99 no more, man. We're starting to get the cable prices. If you don't remember, cable was expensive. It was like, shoot, $200 in some cases. So a month. And your dad would get pissed off, but he didn't want to stop it because he wanted to watch ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember my aunt was like, "Wait a minute, we're not gonna. I thought we were hosting the game this year, so we don't have the bundle. You gotta get the bundle. We're hosting the game." And I was like, "Oh, my aunt's all into it because she's got to host the game, boy."
Because she got to host the game. You know what? And we talked about this. Netflix did the playoff game, the Kansas City Chiefs. No, not Netflix. It was Peacock, and people got pissed. Remember, because it's gonna be Taylor Swift is gonna be there and all this stuff. But people watched, and Peacock found out that they didn't have a lot of churn. So they had maybe 10 million people show up.
Yeah.
They only lost a couple of million, and they stayed. People stayed. So they realized that people will go find sports, especially NFL football. Let's be honest. And NBA is going to see that same kind of uptick. They're talking about splitting NBA packages up into these streamers. So yeah, man, this is a good time to be in sports because this is the only thing live that people will watch, and the streamers are going to eat all that up, and they have the money to buy it.
What could be interesting? An AI sports broadcaster, just with all the different angles, all the different stats, just being able to spit stuff out, totally robotic CGI. You don't know if it could be a whole team of people. That's the idea. You get a whole team of people behind the scenes. They're just feeding this thing information and it's deciding what to talk about, what to spit out. AI influencing sports. Will this new generation accept it? I think so.
Didn't we talk about this? There's already one out there already.
Yeah,
Multiple ones.
the concert girl. But yeah, there's a new AI influencer. You sent this link out. I'm a viral AI influencer made by computers. Now I'm going to host a segment on Survivor. What?
Yeah, yeah. I sent you another YouTube video that talked about all the different AI influencers that are starting to. We talked about the artists, the vocal artists, right? But now we're talking about influencers who want to push you to their OnlyFans page. So this is getting really weird, really fast, Mr. Benja. I feel like we are in a dystopian future, man, that we talk about because now we're going to have these boys, these guys, and that's why I'm afraid of my son because they're gonna get catfished by an influencer, go to OnlyFans, spend all their money, and then try to win their money back with online gambling. And it's just because they're gonna have sports, they're gonna have sex, and then they're never gonna go out. And they have video games. So think of as a boy, if we had all that, Mr. Benja, would we be the well-mannered people we are?
I you just brought this up. I didn't think about the confluence of all of these little different areas. But if you have this little hot chick avatar just sitting on your computer and she's like, "Hey, the game is on tonight. What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Shit, the game's on tonight. Yeah, let's watch the game." And all of a sudden betting options come up. Oh my
Yep.
God.
That's where
So
it's going, Mr. Benja. And a lot of
betting,
these
the
boys.
sex, the
Yep.
sports, the
Yep.
and by the way, for those who think
And make it a video game too. Make it like a video game too. How you compete, like leaderboards and stuff like that is so
fantasy football,
all those dopamine hits are hitting you. What's gonna make these young boys want to go out into the world and do other stuff? I wouldn't. I'm a grown man. I feel for this next generation young boys. Yes, the girls are getting hard with harassment and stuff, but I do feel there's gonna be a generation of boys that are gonna be trapped in the and because you see what's happening, man. Even the sports, they're pushing betting so hard, Mr. Benja. That's why you see like people like Stephen A. Smith, all these sportcasters are creating their own YouTube channels because they're getting money and funding from the betting sites because they know they're bringing the viewers to talk about sports. And so and with this betting sites, you can bet on anything.
yeah.
You can do what they call parlays. So you can watch hockey. You can do a bet where there's a hockey player scores this many goals, a baseball player hits a home run, and LeBron James does a dunk. I'm gonna make $1 million, right? I paid $1. They do stuff like that, these betting sites. So it's
Have you
yeah, it's
there,
crazy.
there's this website full of people. I can't remember it, but it's like a little forum board basically, full of people that look for weird connections to the real world that will influence their bets. And basically, this one guy, he tracks every player's menstrual cycle because that affects their in the WNBA. He's a big WNBA bettor, and he's yeah, I'm tracking all their cycles. It's, what?
I love it, man.
And
It's
he made a lot
nasty,
of
but it's
money
real.
apparently. And yeah, so it's just all of these things like the housing market's down and this guy's got a bunch of money in the real estate market in this area. I'm not assuming that he's gonna be playing good this game. It's, okay, yeah, it's weird out there.
Oh my god, man. I'm looking it up right now, Mr. Benja.
Yeah.
How to win every WNBA bet.
Yep, that's where it started from. And from there, I found a rabbit hole. It's a whole bunch of people into all kinds of information that you don't want to be associated with.
Like I said, Mitchell cycle play of the season. Oh, this is all right, guys. We're gonna end it. We're gonna end it. This is where we end it, Mr. Benja. Was there anything else you want to talk about?
That's all, man. I think we're good.
I think that's enough, man. Oh man. So guys, we're gonna come back and catch up you on other things. But this has been a great show as always. Hey, check this out. Please subscribe and comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check out our website, Show versus Business. We got some great stuff there. Put your email address in. We'd love to connect with you. Mr. Benja, talk to you next time.
Peace.